Good morning. It's a good good Friday morning, right? I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're having a good Friday so far, and I hope the rest of your day is a great Friday, right? And I hope you have plans for the weekend. I do. So, that's awesome, right? It's always good. Anyway, I did put some links in the description to my book 31 Days in Psalm 31 because that's where I found myself this morning. So I'm trying to give everybody a second to get on here, but a lot of people watch later, so it really doesn't matter, right? Anyway, because you got to get that notification and hit that. So make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when I go live, so you can be there when I come on. So, but anyway, I usually try to take a minute to give everybody a chance to kind of get on, right? That annoys me when other people do it. So I guess I should just stop. Maybe I should just start diving in, right? So let's dive in. How about that? So this morning I was kind of all over the place. I read in some in Jeremiah. I was really just kind of in prayer as I was during my devotion time and having my coffee. I'm always start with thankfulness for coffee. Of course, that's the main thing, right? But I was kind of in prayer, and there's a lot of things going on and a lot of things to pray about, just like your life, right? We all have all these different things to pray about. We all have all these different things, all of these concerns that we are taking to Him in prayer, right? And so I was praying for Him to show me something in Scripture. I'm like, what do I do with this, God? And what do I do with that? And what do I do with this? And what about that? And all of these different things. And so I just found myself back in Psalm 31. Now, several years ago, I kept finding myself in this psalm, and so I just said, you know what? There's 24 verses, or let's see, 24 verses. I think I could spend a whole month in this psalm and just there's so many things to grab hold of. We can pull out how great is your goodness, oh God. We could trust His goodness. His goodness doesn't change when we go through stuff, right? And I realized then that the David wrote this in a time that he was probably living in a cave, and so I felt like at the time I was living in a cave, and so I picked it up. I thumbed over there this morning and started reading it again because there's so many things. And the one thing that stuck out to me this morning was that several times through this psalm, he says, trust. He talks about trusting God. And I think, doesn't that what it comes down to? Isn't that what anxiety sometimes comes down to? We either don't trust a person to act like we thought they were going to act. Maybe we don't trust them to make the decisions we want them to make, we think they should make. Maybe we don't trust them to make the decisions about the relationship they have with us, right? There's a lot of different things that we can that come down to trust. Do we trust the banks with our money? Well, think about not putting our money in the bank. We trust them, right? We should trust God even more than that, right? Do we trust, I trust my clients that they're going to pay eventually, even if they don't pay on time. They trust me to get my work in, even if I don't get it in on time. There's a lot of ways we trust, but we don't always think a lot about trusting God the same way. When I make my deposits, well, mostly my clients make deposits, or I take it from PayPal, one or the other, put that deposit in the bank. I don't worry about whether it's going to be there when I look on my app, right? It's there. I don't think, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And yet, when it comes to God, we try to trust Him, but then we're constantly going, okay, can we stand on? Is it still sure? Are you still there? Okay, you still gonna give me peace? Are you still gonna love me? Are you still gonna? And can we trust God as much as we trust the bank? And I don't even really trust the bank fully. I try to keep some cash on hand just in case. You never know, right? And so we trust that a chair is going to hold us when we sit down in it, right? Do we trust God that much? We trust when I trust when I go out. I'm gonna get Chris all ready and go out and put him in the van and we're gonna go. I trust that it's gonna start. I don't even think, excuse me, that it's not gonna start. Right? That doesn't even enter my mind until it doesn't start. And then the next time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start the van first before I get him ready because I want to make sure it's gonna start. Right? But we trust a lot of things. I trust when I flip the light switch on that my lights are gonna come on. I trust that when I pick up my phone to call someone, my phone's going to work, right? We trust a lot of things, but we don't call it trust because it's become so normal to our daily lives. What if trusting God became that normal in our daily lives? Something to think about. Okay, so he started out this Psalm 31 with this. He started out with the declaration. And I like those declarations. And I've pulled out a few the last few days and made them mine. And I'm going to get me a couple for today too. I've got that too. I've got all the I wills declarations out of Psalms all in one book, an ebook you can download on your phone, or you can or print it out if you want to, and pull one a day. It's just got the I will statements, just the declarations. I think I got $1 on it. If you don't have $1, I'll send you a copy. I don't mind. Uh, anyway, he starts out with a declaration and trust. Two powerful things right there. Because our declarations are powerful. Because our words are powerful. Proverbs 18:10, I believe it is, or 18:21. Yeah, 18:21, I think, says death and life are in the power of the tongue. We want to speak life over our own lives. We want to speak life, his life, over our own days, right? Over our thoughts and things. And so he started out with this trust declaration. In you, O Lord, I put my trust. I will trust you, God. Can you just, if nobody's there, say it out loud? See, I can say stuff out loud because it's just Chris, and he probably already thinks I'm crazy. But I'll say things out loud. I pray out loud as I go about my day a lot of times. Poor guy, he just has to listen to everything, right? But it just, if nobody's there, or they're going to think you're crazy. Or if there's somebody listening with you, say it together. Today, I'm going to trust you, God. I will put my trust in you. I'm not putting my trust in the banks. I'm not putting my trust in the our politics. I'm not putting a trust even in the schools, even though they're good. There's some good schools. It's not that they're all evil. I'm not going to put my trust in the church. I'm not going to put my trust, and these are things we do trust. We do trust our pastors, right? We trust our teachers. We trust our leaders, right? But we don't put all of our trust in them. We trust God, and we trust God with our leaders. We trust God with our pastors. We trust God with our teachers, right? We trust God with our finances, with our jobs, with our kids, right? We trust him. So this is a powerful declaration. In you, O Lord, I will put my trust. And then down in let's see, where's the next one? I had them marked, I just can't hardly see. Okay, down in verse 6, he goes down through here saying, listen to me, deliver me. He's in dire straits. Heard that a while, right? He's like, be my rock, God. I need a rock right now, is what David's saying. Be a fortress, save me, for you are my rock. It's funny because he prays it, then he says it, right? Deliver me. He says, bow down your ear to me, O God. Deliver me speedily. Not just on your time, God. We're on a time frame here, right? Deliver me speedily. Be my rock of refuge, a fortress of defense to save me. And then he says, for you are my rock and you are my fortress. It's like he's like, I need you to be my rock. Oh yeah, you are my rock. I need you to be my fortress. Oh yeah, you are my fortress. Right? It's like he's reminding himself. And then he goes on down, he prays and then declares and prays and declares, and down in verse 6 again, he says, I'm seeing all these things. You're my strength. Into your hand I commit my spirit, which is what Jesus said on the cross. He was quoting a psalm. He was always quoting the word, what he knew, what he had memorized, he didn't have to memorize. I wonder if he did have to memorize it. Because if he was the word and he already knew the word, did he have to memorize it when he was here as a kid? Anyway, thoughts that drive me off. Anyway, but he's saying, you're my strength. He's saying, I'm putting my whole self, my whole being in your hands. I'm going to trust you today. And then he goes on down in verse 6. He's like, I will trust in the Lord. And then I think there's another one in verse Numbers 14. But as for me, I trust in you, O Lord. And so he says it over and over in this psalm. I'm going to trust you. You see, the cave became a familiar place for David when he was running from Saul, right? He got comfortable in the cave, probably, right? He knew how to operate in the cave. He knew how to operate on the run, and yet he also knew how to trust God. And sometimes the circumstances that are the most difficult in our lives, we actually get comfortable with the chaos. Yeah, I said it. People get comfortable with the chaos. And actually, if things go good for a while, they might create chaos. I've seen people that do that. They'll create chaos because they just can't handle the unchaotic moments, right? Non-chaotic, unchaotic moments, And so we get used to lack in our finances. We get used to, I don't know, adverse circumstances or challenges, and maybe David got a little comfortable in the cave, but he's this time he's calling out and he's going, I'm going to trust you in this cave. I'm hiding from someone. They're pursuing me. They're chasing me. They're trying to kill me. I'm going to trust you. God, and have you ever felt like life feels that way? Like everything's just trying to destroy your faith? Everything's just trying to destroy what you are trying to build. You work 10 hours and you got to pay 12 hours worth of your money on a bill. It feels like you're always, like, emotionally you come up short. Financially, we can feel like we come up short. We can really come up short. Sometimes it feels like we come up short with in relationships, or in our job, I have this feeling that I never can get caught up. I never can get where I need to be. And I diligently as I want. And so, do you ever feel that way with God? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Sometimes it feels like it's just not quite coming together. And it's a perfect place to say, I will trust you. Into your hands, I'm going to commit all of this because I can't handle it anymore. I'm going to give you all of me. It was a total surrender to God at that point. And he started the psalm with that. He started it with, I will put my trust in you. And by verse 5, he's saying, you are my strength. I'm putting my spirit in your hand. I'm putting my whole being in your hands, God. And he goes on to say, I trust you. I trust you. I trust in you, O Lord. You are my God. He reminds himself several times, you are my God. So can we get to that place of trust today where we just say, I'm going to trust you with all of it. Everything I'm struggling with, everything I'm not struggling with. So you can't just say, okay, I want you to take all the bad stuff and I got all this. I got this. You go ahead and take all this because I don't know, but I got this. Can we just give him all of us? Give him your whole being and just go, God, I'm just going to put all of myself, everything that makes me me, in your hands. And I just ask you to be that rock for me, be that fortress for me, be my God. What an awesome thought. Just ask him, tell him, you are my God. And then let him be your God by trusting him with everything. Yeah, all right. Have a great day, you guys. Peace out. I hope I said something that made some sense or encouraged you a little bit. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the morning.